This evening, authorities in Franklin County are on the scene of an armed robbery in Christopher. We have the latest coming up. Plus, Hurricane Michael, one of the most intense storms to ever hit the United States, roared ashore early this afternoon. Continuing coverage coming up. And the trial of a woman accused of hiring someone to murder her husband has been delayed. We have those stories and more this evening on a Wednesday evening edition of News 24 at 5. And good evening. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, but we begin with breaking news out of Christopher, where authorities in Franklin County are on the scene of an armed robbery. It happened this afternoon at the Circle K in the 500 block of North Victor Street. Ziegler Police Chief Ben Berkhammer tells us a juvenile suspect left the scene and was arrested. Officers also recovered a weapon. No other details have been confirmed at this time. To Panama City, Florida, where Hurricane Michael, one of the most intense storms to ever hit the United States, roared ashore early this afternoon along the Florida Panhandle with 155-mile-per-hour winds, just 2 miles per hour shy of a Category 5 status. The hurricane was originally thought to make landfall in a desolate area between Panama City and Tallahassee, but moved further north, making landfall around 2 p.m. Eastern, just miles from the Panama City limits. So far, there is no confirmed fatalities, but FEMA has yet to examine the area. The trial of a woman accused of hiring someone to murder her husband has been delayed. Karen Stonemark faces charges in the death of Frank Stonemark. Prosecutors believed she hired James Michael Deese to kill Frank at their home in DeSoto in October 2017, then helped Deese to hide the body by dismembering it and lighting it on fire. Deese pleaded guilty in July and is scheduled to be sentenced in November. Her lawyer says there's a lot of evidence in the case to go through, including cell phone and Facebook records, so he asked for an extension. He also wants to look at contents of a safety deposit box belonging to Frank that were not put into evidence by prosecutors. The judge set Stonemark's next hearing for November 26. Continuing coverage out of Marion this evening. A family is safe after their home was destroyed in an early morning fire. Crews responded to the 1100 block of Midway Court at around 4:30 a.m. this morning and found the front of the home covered in flames. The woman was awake when the fire started and called 911 after getting her 6 children out of the home. Fire Chief Jerry Odom tells us the fire was accidental and that it was caused by a gas leak. No one in the home was hurt, but the family is staying with a neighbor in the meantime. To the weather, where after a day of wet conditions, winter-like conditions are on the way. Here's News 24's Terry Rodriguez in with the latest. All right, thanks, Terry. Turning to continuing coverage this evening out of Carbondale, where a controversial topic about the development of a solar panel farm in Carbondale was tabled at Tuesday night's City Council meeting. Residents filled the Civic Center hoping to hear an answer about the future of the old Copperswood treatment facility on the northeast side of Carbondale. Margaret Nesbitt was one of the many people disappointed at yesterday night's meeting. Nesbitt has been a resident of Carbondale since 1940 and lives about 10 blocks away from the empty land. The city of Carbondale is talking with Brightfield's Development about a solar farm on the land of the old wood facility. Daniel Voss, vice president of Brightfield's Development, did not have the numbers Mayor Mike Henry wanted on Tuesday. After the two spoke on the phone, they decided the best thing to do was to hold off on voting. The project Voss is talking about is solar panels covering about 80 acres of land. For decades, workers at the wood treatment plant used a solution called creosote to stop wood from decaying, but it ended up contaminating the soil and making workers sick. The Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, said creosote can irritate the eyes, skin, and lungs, and people have died in rare cases. The EPA has tested samples at the site and says the soil is no longer contaminated. Residents like Nesbitt say that would much rather see that space as a way to remember those who worked there. Voss says he understands why residents are struggling with ideas of a solar panel farm, but hope they see what it can do for the community. Voss says to develop an area with 80 acres of solar panels that cost around $30 to $40 million, but it would cost the city nothing. The item will be on the agenda at the next City Council meeting on October 23rd. Much more local news, sports, and weather is coming up, but first, here's your Fox News update.
In Fox News. This is a Fox News alert. One of the biggest storms and one of the biggest sell-offs ever. I'm Lisa Brady. The Dow drops more than 800 points, mainly fueled by rising interest rates. The Nasdaq plunging more than 4%, its biggest point drop in 18 years. More on the markets in a moment. But first, the catastrophe still unfolding from Michael. Still a Category 3 hurricane at this hour, hours after landfall near Mexico Beach, Florida, with 155-mile-per-hour winds.
Wind-wise, this is right below Andrew. And as far as that central pressure goes, how low the pressure in the center of the storm went, that is the third strongest storm, the third lowest pressure we've ever recorded of a landfalling storm here across the U.S.
Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth, tens of thousands without power in Florida as the hurricane bears down now on the Alabama-Georgia line, heading northeast to areas still recovering from Hurricane Florence.
I really worry a little bit about South Carolina and North Carolina from the standpoint that we're already saturated and they're going to get a reasonable hit.
President Trump monitoring the storm and the financial markets. One of the worst days ever on Wall Street. Third largest point drops for both the Dow and the Nasdaq. The White House says it'll pass.
I did just get off the phone with a senior White House official who told me that the feeling around the White House here is that this is a bull market correction. It's nothing to panic about. In fact, it's probably a good thing. The market might have been a little bit overheated. There are some concerns about rising interest rates. However, this person told me that those concerns are probably overbaked. There's also some concern among some companies that the looming tariffs against China could hurt their bottom line, but the fact is the economy is roaring ahead.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. The S&P with its fifth loss in a row, longest losing streak in nearly 2 years. This is Fox News.
Stop.
The city of Rockford needs a good partner in Springfield.
Thanks again for your service.
JB understands how to get things done.
Thank you for being at Freeport. Oh, thank you. Glad to be here.
JB took the time to come out.
I'm glad to see you here. People have been so welcoming. Thank you.
JB seems to care about the average person.
We want universal preschool for
JB in my book is the only hope we got.
We have a serious problem. We're all at risk. We're all at fault. Distracted driving is killing innocent people every day. situations unsafe for everyone by not paying attention. Phones and devices down. Please. It really is a matter of life or death.
Today's your lucky day. Because McDonald's new Trick Treat Win game has 1 in 4 odds of winning instantly. So you won't need luck.
All right, free fries.
Don't miss your chance to win your share of over 100 million prizes. Hurry in to play McDonald's Trick Treat Win.
I am the $5 lunch from DQ, and variety is my modus operandi. That's Latin for new burger, new salad, and strips, all with a DQ Sunday. That's English for Carpe Diem. Because I'm not fast food, I am fan food. I am your favorite DQ treats. And when you exit the drive-thru with a minivan full of meat and a rear-view mirror obstructed by DQ soft serve, your kids will know that you know how to party. Because I'm not fast food, I am fan food.
This is Carter from Vogler Ford. We know that when you shop for a pre-owned car, you want it to be everything you expect it to be. That's why we use AutoCheck. AutoCheck provides a thorough report on a vehicle's history, from accident reports to title or odometer issues, and even maintenance reports. It's the most complete report you can get when you're looking at a pre-owned vehicle. Browse our website. You can see the AutoCheck score, which tells you how that vehicle compares to others like it. We don't have anything to hide. That's why we always say you got to get to Vogler in Carbondale.
At Silkworm, our company culture is our brand. I love design, and this is a great place for it.
It makes great first impressions last. That's our slogan.
It's kind of like the golden rule. It's exciting just to see something new and different. As you evolve as an artist, you can surprise yourself with what you can come up with. People keep coming back. Everybody's real happy to work with us. We've crafted a culture here that everyone wants to be a part of. We'll find a solution to what you're looking for.
That's success.
Silkworm, high standards, happy customers. Find us, silkworminc.com.
The races that impact you, informing you 24/7. Every newscast, every day. News 24 is your election source. We dig fall. Bonfires, breaking with mom, chilly nights, pumpkin patches, trick-or-treating, and scary costumes. That's what we love. So celebrate it with us all season long. Too much? Visit www.news24si.com/Oktoberfest for more information.
right, thanks, Terry. Turning to Cairo this evening, where a proposed river port terminal in the city of Cairo will be receiving capital funding. According to the State Senator Dale Fowler, the funding totals $1 million in a key investment in the future economic development of Southern Illinois. The money will be used to fund permitting, engineering, and design costs for the port terminal as part of the current fiscal year 2019 state budget. The location for the port terminal is situated at the confluence of the Mississippi and Ohio rivers, as well as the Canadian National Railroad, running from Chicago to New Orleans and near 3 major interstates. The project will move forward with all capital funding to be expected by June 30th of 2019 and is expected to be completed within 24 months. Carbondale was established as a compassionate and nonviolent community by Nonviolent Carbondale yesterday. Nonviolent Carbondale organizes and supports activities that foster nonviolent and compassionate interactions in the community. Since 2011, peace activist Hugh Muldoon, the Carbondale Public Library, Women's Center, and Boys and Girls Club of Carbondale, and the Interfaith Council have worked together on the Compassionate and Nonviolent Community Project. Their work includes hosting programs and exhibits throughout the community as part of the 11 Days for Compassion and 11 Days for Peace initiatives. Inspired by a visit to Carbondale, author and Nobel Peace Prize nominee John Deere, that is D-E-A-R, launched a nationwide Nonviolent Cities project with Carbondale as the model. There are now 50 nonviolent city projects nationwide. Turning back to Christopher tonight, where authorities have responded to an armed robbery at Circle K. We do know that a suspect and a firearm have been taken into custody, and we will provide you with more information as we receive it. News 24 Sports is coming up next.
The races that impact you, informing you 24/7. Every newscast, every day. News 24 is your election source.
At Ameren, Illinois, we know every day is a new opportunity. Whether we're volunteering at local youth organizations or partnering with energy efficiency-related businesses to create new jobs, we're paving the way for a brighter future in the communities we serve. Learn how you can work toward a more energy-efficient world at AmerenIllinois.com.